Hi guys, it's me again. Today is June 30th, 2021, and today I'm making my last video for YouTube. I'm going on an indefinite hiatus. Not for any bad reason, I'm just taking a mental break. I just don't feel the need to keep uploading videos anymore. And it's not like I don't feel like inspired or anything like that. I have so many videos I want to keep making. I can make so many more videos and I have so much left. But it's almost become like too much, kind of like a drag. And I just have other things to focus on right now that are more important and bigger, you know what I mean? In terms of a career and whatever. And I'm just trying to focus more on other things in my life. And so I know that other people who have, like, they have, they post on YouTube, they post, frequently, I'd say. And then eventually they just kind of like, if you tune back later, you find they'll have no videos posted after a few weeks, after a few months, maybe after a year, and still nothing, and you're like, what happened? So I wanted to just keep you all updated and make sure you all know that no, I didn't just disappear out of thin air. Yes, I'm still alive. I am really just on a break right now, and so there's not to say like, oh, I'm gonna quit YouTube and never say never, but I've been posting videos on the platform for like, oh my goodness, going on a decade now, and I had my own account 7 years ago. And then I also started posting on this channel 4 years ago. So it's been a long time, of me posting content and creating videos for everyone. And so I'm just taking a break for now. I have so much I want to share with you all, but still, I feel like personally I'll be best served if I just take a break. Just like, kind of like a mental break as well. And so yeah, but today my last video, I want to just go ahead and talk about something that I started last year, actually, a little bit over a year ago, and that was my COVID update. And these are not updates about my COVID status. Obviously, I had never had COVID. I never experienced it despite being in New York City. During the peak of COVID, I never once contracted the virus, which I'm very, very blessed and just beyond words. I mean, there's some people who didn't get that lucky and that fortunate that and being an epicenter, you know what I mean? There's people like who lived in rural areas and whatnot and who got the virus and died. I lived literally where it was so bad and I never got it. So I think it just speaks. And also I was kind of like it. I had asthma, you know what I mean? I don't have asthma anymore, but I had asthma during that time. And so I was actually at risk because of my respiratory illness. And so I literally was very fortunate, very blessed to be able to survive that whole. Because for people like me who are asthmatic, that was just like just a really bad ordeal if you had to go through that and COVID. And so basically, my last video was going on COVID, talking about I started the COVID updates. I think I have like 5 of them. And so I haven't talked about COVID in a long time and how it's going, but I have already talked about how it started, the history of it. I've talked about like probably twice in my videos and 2 separate occasions. So I wanted to go ahead and kind of just talk about like how what's happening now and the state of things. So going into the summer of 2021, right now COVID is very much easing, less restrictions, things like that. And it's funny because I remember last year too in New York City, you were like, oh, there's less restrictions now. And you know what I mean? I remember how everyone was opening up. And it's actually interesting because COVID seems really scary, and it is. But it's interesting how in March, when it was so awful, no one played any sports. For example, I'm taking sports for example, so there's no fans, players stopped playing. Let's say tennis for example. No fans come to the stadiums, no staff, no players. Players had to stay at home with their own courts or whatever. I don't know. That's if you're wealthy. But then eventually, by the time August rolled around, which is like, what's the August to March is like, oh my gosh, math. I love math. No, I don't. That's like 5 months. So literally in less than half a year, we got back to having some fans a little bit, but having players go back and the tour restart in a way. that kind of tells you a lot about, even by July we had tournaments going on, so that kind of told me a lot about like how, things were going. Remember last year, I'm watching Wimbledon right now, and last year there was no Wimbledon. They had to take insurance. It was the first time Wimbledon was canceled since World War II. So that tells you a lot. And now they're playing it a year later, so it shows how much we've really improved. I mean, I just want to talk about that just to show how much things improved in a short time. You know what I mean? I think you could say, oh, COVID is gonna be here for like years and years and years, but I mean, obviously for sure we're gonna have cases up to like next year, 2022. We're gonna have cases and whatnot, but now the year after that, 2023, we can say we're pretty much good, right? I mean, I think by the end of this year, we'll be in a, we'll have COVID be behind us. It'll be kind of a chapter that's kind of done. You know what I mean? Still there'll be like precautions, still there'll be safety guidelines, maybe like the CDC and all those things, but I think it won't be as awful as it was. I mean, if we had people going back to school, in the fall, obviously isn't awful. You know what I mean? It's awful as it was before. Um, and I just feel like things are really improving. So right now we're having vaccines, and so pretty much everyone has been vaccinated. Not everyone, but I would say over 50%. I remember, I think President Biden said that he wanted to have 100% of people vaccinated by July 4th, something like that. I don't know. And so we've had a lot of people vaccinated. And the thing about vaccinated people is that a lot of people are like, oh my goodness, I don't want to be vaccinated. Or you know what I mean? I don't want to go through that, and I don't want to, you know what I mean? Just people were like acting like they were hesitant. That was actually really a small minority, and I mean, you would read and say like, oh, we're concerned about people not taking the vaccine, and we're worried they won't take the vaccine, and whatnot. But actually, that's a really small minority of people who said those things, and in the end, they ended up taking them as well. And I think the good thing as well with the vaccine is that it is an incentive in a way to go back to work, to go back to send your kids to school. And I mean, if you're anti-vaccine, not to be political or anything like that, I'm just being completely biased. If you're anti-vaccine but you want your kids to go to school because like, oh, kids at home, you know what I mean? I have to work, but my kids are at home. That's a whole thing, you know what I mean? But you don't want to have them be vaccinated, then you have to have them be vaccinated. You know what I mean? It's kind of like because the school won't let you not go. I mean, if you go to any school in America, they'll ask you for a physical. And I'm seeing that this fall they're going to be, having on that physical be the COVID vaccine. I mean, so did your child get it? They did. Great. They can come to the school. If they're not, they can stay at home. You know, that's just how it is. So, and it isn't like at that point personal or oh, it's my freedom, it's my choice, because at that point it becomes the health of others. This is literally a thing in which this is everyone else. You know, I mean, the flu, you could say, oh, the flu is a little thing, not to diminish the flu or anything like that, but the flu was like, oh, well, if I get sick, it's on me, really. Um, and also, it isn't as deadly either and fatal. But the COVID, it's like, I have COVID, I can transmit it to others. I can literally end their lives because of how careless I am or how reckless I am. So it requires a lot of caution. Luckily, though, kids don't tend to have COVID. I don't know why, but they just don't tend to. So luckily, it isn't that bad. But obviously, with people going back to work and stuff, when going to the office, which I think people want to go to the office, honestly, people seem to be more happy to be at work than to have their home be their work. And so the way I see it is that, well, obviously they're going to ask people, take your vaccine, if you want to go back to the office or the university building or whatever. So for students, faculty, staff alike. So I think it provides an incentive to anyone who's like, oh, I don't want to take my vaccine, because eventually it'll be the norm. It's required, just like it's required for you to pay taxes or for you to, I don't know, whatever else is required. You know what I mean? It's just a part of life. If you want to go here or attend this or do this, you need your vaccine. You know what I mean? They might as well end up having people, if you want to attend a Broadway show, you have to have your vaccine. Show us your vaccine card. And even for travel, I remember I have a friend who, excuse me, who's very much wary of the vaccine. They did not trust the vaccine at all. But when it came to travel, because they always travel somewhere every year, and they traveled somewhere and they realized, well, and it wasn't even just like, I feel like it wasn't even just like, oh, well, it's because I have to, you know what I mean? But even just because, like, if I go to that country, I feel more safe, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, eventually, if you'll be required to travel internationally with a vaccine card and with proof. Um, that hasn't started yet, I don't think. Nationally, it hasn't happened. I traveled nationally. There's just nothing really in terms of, you know, I traveled by plane, and all they're requiring is for you to have a mask on. And then when you get on board, the pilot, not the pilot, oh, I don't know, the flight attendant, yeah, the flight attendant, sorry, they give you like a Clorox wipes, like a little wipe kind of bag thing, and they also give you what else? I don't know. Sometimes they give you like a little goodie bag of like cleaning, hand sanitizer, I don't know, whatever, kind of like things to make sure you're clean, or not make sure you're clean, but even give you peace of mind. So you can clean your hands, you can clean your seat, whatever, you know what I mean? Kind of like a little kit like that. So yeah, I mean, it's nice how they do that for you, and it's completely complimentary. I hope it's not considered. I hope it's not included within the ticket. But yeah, I mean that's what they give you. So it's almost as normal as them giving you a snack on a flight. You know what I mean? It's just another thing that is there. But everyone wears masks. The good thing is that when I've been to the airport, because I've gone to the airport a couple times, when I've gone to the airport, when I've gone to the airplane, nothing really has changed. No one's like, no, you can't force me to wear a mask, or no, you know what I mean? Everyone's been very civil. Everyone just goes out their life, you know what I mean, with a mask on. It's the same thing, but just there's a mask on. There's distance. Obviously, it's important to have social distance. And yeah, the flight attendants give you cleaning supplies. That's pretty much it. But everything else is the same. So life functions the same. It's still busy. Um, yeah, even the plane is crowded as well, you know. But it's just how it is. So as long as you have a mask on, you're fine. But for me, I think when I go back to the friend that I had, the friend also, yeah, they couldn't really travel without having the vaccine. At the same time, I think even for them and even for me in that situation, I would feel even better traveling abroad knowing I had the vaccine, because the country that they were going to isn't like a third, isn't it isn't a first world country, to be honest. And so in the parts of the country you're going to as well. So honestly, you just feel more secure also if I have my vaccine. So I just got my second vaccine. I got my first one on the 9th of June. Then I got a second one on the 24th of June. So I got 2 weeks after, 2 weeks and a day, I guess. And then I got the Pfizer vaccine. But if I were to travel right now to international flight, even myself, I would try to book after my second flight. So I just wouldn't feel comfortable going to a whole other country, whether it's first world, third world, whatever. But third world, obviously, the standard isn't as of cleaning isn't as great. But I would feel less comfortable and confident in being safe and secure, and I don't have my insurance overseas, whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know what the hospitals are like. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't want to go there and get sick. So I'd feel more confident in getting my vaccine and then going ahead and traveling. So luckily now that I have my vaccine, I feel more confident. So, and now you can also, once you have your second vaccine, you don't need to have a mask on all the time. Well, you need it in like government buildings, in the airports, and whatever. And other stores may have a sign saying masks on. So you can't just go and walk anywhere with just a mask off, even if you do have even if you do happen to have the vaccines. But it just is more like outside and some places, even some. I mean, outside you can always take your mask off, but also if you go to indoor places that don't require you to have a vaccine, I mean, a mask, you can just go. As long as they don't say clearly have your mask on, because some places do. Let's see if it's like government or like it's a health clinic or whatever. They'll be very strict on you because it's like it's kind of like a civil or public entity. So yeah, but for the most part, from what I've seen, a lot of people are following the rules. I mean, it's just becoming part of life. Masks, whatever. It's just becoming a part of life. Talking about the vaccines. And just so you know, we have different types of vaccines. We have the Pfizer vaccine, we have the Moderna vaccine, and those two are by far the most effective ones. I think in America, Pfizer is the most widely available compared to Moderna. Moderna is there as well, but I chose Pfizer. I went and studied a little bit about the vaccines and the differences, and I found that Pfizer is and Moderna are the top two, obviously. I went a little bit closer though, and found my Pfizer's a little bit better. I just went to the nitty gritty kind of, but already I was kind of biased towards Pfizer. I heard a lot of good things about it and how it was really effective and whatnot. And I don't know. I mean, I think Moderna also being kind of like a foreign kind of, not like it's a bad thing to be foreign, but I think even in the media they kind of play up Pfizer as a better one as well. So I ended up taking Pfizer. And yeah, also there's Johnson and Johnson. I know a friend family who got some got Pfizer, some got Johnson and Johnson, some got Moderna, all on different days. It was just so interesting. Johnson and Johnson is a lot less effective. There's even showings of blood clots showing in some women. So that was really strange. And so once I heard that, I was like, no, I'm out. And it was, but the thing is, that's even bad. Is like it's not even that effective. It's like 59% effective compared to Pfizer, Moderna, which are like, I don't know. I don't want to give the wrong number, but it's not that low. Maybe like 94, 91% effective. There's another one too. Sorry, AstraZeneca. I think they're the ones like make that like thing for your nose, like where your nose kind of like kind of like I don't know, it opens the airways or kind of blocks stuffy noses. I don't know, but they made a vaccine as well. But I think it's more of a European one. I think it's kind of like a German one as well. I think there's like two German ones. So I really haven't seen anyone talk about those as much because I think it's more of something that's available more in Europe. But also there's Chinese ones and Russian ones out there as well. They made theirs pretty much earlier, but yeah, Pfizer is really good. Moderna's really good, and side effects obviously are there. People have them worse than others. Obviously, depends on the kind of person. For me, I actually felt my side effect the day after I got the vaccine. So I didn't feel like immediately. I felt it actually the day after. And so I ended up having kind of like an aching pain in my left arm where I got my shot. Obviously, I didn't choose my right arm because my right arm's what I'm right-handed. I'm right dominant, so I didn't choose my right hand. And so my left one was what I chose, and I felt like the first day I was like, oh, I'm fine. The next day, a little bit later, I felt some pain, and I was like, not like pain, but like kind of just like a little bit of aching, and so it was hard for me to even like do this, and it felt like kind of painful, like aching. So it was hard to even just get to that point. I could almost only go like here. Once I go here, it just kind of hurts. So it was hard for me, and so um, but it happened both times for the vaccines. It happened actually the day after, and then the day after that day, third day, it was just gone. So I think I tried resting it, whatever, but it just goes on its own. To be honest, it just is gone by itself. So that's how I kind of felt about it. And yeah, luckily it wasn't bad. Other people have experienced. Also, I did feel fatigue though. Second day, I don't know what happened, but second day I felt like fatigue, and I felt tired, drowsy. I just felt like really like kind of like abnormally just lethargic a little bit. And it kicked in later in the day. I just felt strange. And usually I don't feel like that. And so I did end up feeling a little like that. But some people have been feeling like throwing up, fatigue, really bad pain, all sorts of stuff. But for me, luckily, I haven't felt that kind of way. And so I'm really fortunate because of that. But yeah, also I also wanted to tell you guys that the cruises are also taking off now. If you come here, you can see that the cruises are just literally stopped. They've been stopped since March. They've been just literally out in the ocean. They're kind of eerie looking. Obviously, they're still pretty, but kind of weird looking, just out there in the sea by themselves. They've been there like that since March 22nd, which is when the CDC told the cruises to stop. Don't go anywhere. But now they're going back to service, and so I can tell you right now that I can already guess those tickets are probably booked out for Royal Caribbean, Celebrity Cruises, Disney Cruises, Norwegian cruises, whatever. They're all going to be so booked out. I can already tell you. People are talking about cruises. You know what I mean? People talk about cruises as if COVID didn't happen. You know what I mean? But I think for everyone, at some point, it becomes a lot. You know what I mean? I think even I'm telling Americans, even don't go outside, stay indoors, do this, do that. Telling Americans to not do this and not do that. It's just not. It's just more of like just people feel just so independent and so free. So it's like other countries where you'll be so obedient and listen, and you feel fearful. That's a mouthful. It's just more of just like I want to do my own thing, and don't tell me what to do, and it's kind of like a rebellious teen. But for sure, I think um now people are really waking up and they're like, I want to travel. You know what I mean? Traveling has really gotten crazy, and if I go to the airport, I'm like surprised. I'm like, oh my goodness, so many people. It's like COVID never happened. I mean, everyone's out here again. It's normal like it was last time, and also even just the fact that American Airlines had to cancel a lot of flights. And they're canceling even more. They had to cancel like 150 flights, and then Southwest Airlines had to cancel. But not, I don't know, cancel, but I remember hearing that they delayed a lot of flights. So they're delaying flights too, and so all these airlines actually have been overbooked, I think, and overpacked, and now it's too many flights to keep up with. That shows you the extent of how many people want to travel and get out and maybe see loved ones. You know, a lot of people had like plans. They had plans to go to see countries or to see their friends or family, and that was just cut short, and they had to cancel those flights and those plans. So now it's like I want to travel, and I mean, if I plan a trip to London, now I can go, and I mean, so it's just kind of like those kind of things. If I plan a trip to Mount Rushmore, I'm going now. If I plan to see my grandma, I'm going now. So people are just ready to go and whatever, you know what I mean? And I think people also maybe appreciate outdoors and nature more after being indoors for so long. I know that it's not fun being indoors. I don't like it. So, but yeah, it feels good to be outside again and whatnot. And I mean, not much has changed from last year in terms of even how I feel, and not how I feel, but like how things really are. But I mean, everyone's kind of been a little bit kind of like it hasn't been crazy in terms of like you know I don't know. It hasn't been like I feel like even New Yorkers, right? New Yorkers just COVID was there, but hey, life kept moving on. You know what I mean? So it just kept moving on. Even now, it's like my life moves on. So that's just how it is. That's the nature of life. But I think I've covered everything. Vaccines I've covered, travel I've covered, um, masks, things like that. Obviously, masks aren't required anymore. Even the CDC said that. Dr. Anthony Fauci of the NIH said that too. So yeah, we're pretty much getting to a good point. And yeah, I think we're getting to a good point in this journey. So school's already started again and whatnot. And so yeah, is that it? Is that everything? Oh my goodness, I think I just covered COVID. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. That was my last COVID update video. So I'm glad that you guys get to watch all my videos. This has been documenting my series. Has been documenting the entire COVID experience. Not experience. I didn't experience it, but the whole COVID tumultuous. What is the word? Whatever. The whole era of turmoil from 2019. I think people said. I think I remember reading that somewhere that they spotted COVID. Not spotted COVID, but whatever. They kind of saw hints of it or whatever by August 2019. That's wow. That's like almost 2 years ago. That's crazy, isn't it? That's almost earlier than I thought, which is they thought it was in December 2020. I mean 2019. So that's even earlier. That's like 4 months earlier. So wow, guys. Anyway, guys, we're halfway into 2021, and so I'll keep you updated as well. But let's see how the rest of the year goes. The rest of the half of the year goes, and so until then, guys, I won't see you again really soon, to be honest. But I'm glad you kept watching my videos, and so I'll see you next time. Enjoy. Well, I won't see you next time, but anyway, love you all. Bye.